Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. Here's Fabio Rosa, the CEO and co-founder of TagoIO. Thank you very much for attending our webinar today about how to build dashboards using TagoIO. That will be a short webinar, around 45 minutes of presentation, where we're going to be presenting the concept, also going to have a live demo presenting step-by-step how to build dashboards. Also, we're going to have a Q&A session at the end so that you can make questions during any time. And if I cannot answer during the presentation, we are going to present and answer at the end of this event. Also, you're going to be recording this presentation today and make it available for everyone to watch later in our YouTube channel and also in our website tago.io/videos. I'll be starting present the concepts, and then Henry Sneed, one of our developer, will be here presenting the demo in real life. So first, TagoIO is the platform that really has the mission to transform the way business can create value from any connected product and user interaction. So it's not only about a dashboard, but is about the whole ecosystem. If you take a look at this picture here, you can see the key components and understand where TagoIO is located. So TagoIO will enable you to build applications that can be integrated with other systems if you need. So let's start from the left side, where we have the end node devices. These are devices that can send the data to the internet so that it can be addressed to TagoIO, or maybe it can be a sensor or actuator that are gonna turn something on and off, can open a door, open or close a valve, for example. There are different ways to send this data to Tago. We are very used to work with networks like LoRaWAN or Sigfox, or frankly, any other type of connectivity. We have been working for many years with different network providers so that you can integrate your devices very easily with Tago. If you use any other type of devices, for example, using Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, Z-Wave, Zigbee, narrowband, IoT, or cellular, or even satellite, it's also possible to connect with Tago. You can use MQTT protocol or TCP/IP UDP. So really there is no limit to integrate your devices with Tago. So in the middle, you can see the application level. You can build on top of TagoIO, that's done for developers. We can integrate it with other systems. For example, if you want to integrate with spreadsheets, Google Sheets, Twitter, CIM, ERP system, you can do it. Also, you can even integrate Tago processing capability and integration with your own enterprise system. If you have HTTPS connectors, APIs, or even TCP/IP, also you can connect. And then your users are going to use what you call run. That's the best way you found to have you deploy your solution for your customers. So basically, Tago has 6 key components: from device management, data storage. Also, you can run analytics in real time, build dashboards, and you can also manage your users, how they are going to access your application, and you can create your own solution with your own custom domain in your white label. However, today, our focus is really only on dashboards. We are not going to be covering other parts of these components, but you can take a look later in our next webinars where we're going to be always covering them through the time. So when you build a dashboard, it can be visualized in the browser. And also, it can be visualized in the mobile app. We have a free mobile app, TagoIO, that you can use to visualize each of your dashboards. Also, there is interaction between dashboards and our data buckets. That's the data storage system. So every time you want to display some information in the dashboards, you simply need to connect this to the data storage system. And Henry is going to show how to do that. Before I switch here to Henry, let me tell you about two types of dashboards that you have available. The first one is called normal dashboard. The purpose of this dashboard is so that you can use it easily and quickly. You can have your dashboard up and running. You can connect each device and variable directly with the widget. For example, if you have a chart and you want to present temperature from a sensor, you just need to select the chart and select that specific sensor and the variable. So that's very easy. You can do this for all your dashboards, and you can share them or with your users as you need. You can even duplicate them. So that's a very easy way to do. That's normal dashboards. That is frankly what you have for many, many years. Now, recently, we have released the Blueprint dashboards. So with Blueprint, you can easily scale your applications up, because now you don't link each widget with specific device and variables, but you link widgets to multiple devices using tags. So you can have, let's say, 100 or thousands of users looking for their own data, but inside of a, let's say, template, that's the Blueprint dashboard, that allows you as a developer to have to create just one dashboard, and everybody else is going to see the same dashboard. Again, the data is different for each one, but if you need to do any updates, you just need to do a change in one specific dashboard. That's what we call Blueprint dashboard. So Harry is going to talk about that. He's going to show using one account at Tago how to do that. And without further ado, I'm going to switch to Henry.
Thanks, Fabio. So as Fabio said, I'm going to be showing you how to build regular as well as Blueprint dashboards. I'm going to go ahead and share. So you'll start in your home profile. To go to dashboards, you have them right over here on this bar. And so I'll show you the normal dashboard I have set up. So the first thing I want to mention is that we have options to go into full screen mode. So if you want to visualize it, you can do that. That's one feature I wanted to mention. And then also the difference between edit mode and visualization mode is important. So if I go into edit mode, I can edit the widgets, and you can, you'll know you're in edit mode because the background will change. And so that's just an important thing to note. And so the widgets I have set up here, I have a cylinder widget displaying the water level in a figurative water tank. I have a pressure sensor set up here, as well as a map. Let's see, an area form, as well as an input form. And here I have a button to allow me to edit the water level from here. So if I change it there, all of my widgets are updated. And so I'm just going to go ahead and try to rebuild this, and hopefully along the way give you a better understanding of how to add widgets and build regular dashboards. So to start, go and you would click this little add dashboard button here. I'm going to name the dashboard and then press create. And so off the bat, you have the option to go into settings. So this you can access here as well. But here you can share, duplicate, distribute, and remove. If you ever need the ID for the dashboard, you can find it here. So I'm going to configure it. Here I could add a background image if I wanted to, and I could edit the opacity from here. And so I'm going to, I will add a icon for this dashboard. And if you want to add your own, it just has to be a .svg image. I'll just pick one from the options I have available here. I'll use an arrow, and if I save that, I can see now my dashboard over here. It's a little bit easier to identify from among these others. So the first widget I'm going to add is going to be a map, and I'll name this tanker truck because it will be tracking the location of a figurative tanker truck. And so the device I'm using is an iPhone. In a more realistic application, that would be probably some sort of GPS device. And then the variable I'm using is going to be the location. And so if I just go ahead and save that, I'll already have a map set up. And so it imports all the data associated with the bucket of that device. And I'm going to edit a few details just to show you the different options you have for visualization. So here I'm going to change it to a dark map. You can also change it to light or satellite view. I'll stick with dark. And I'm also going to edit the pin. So instead of a car, let's say, because it's a tanker truck, I'll go ahead and find the truck icon. And instead of just scrolling it around, looking for it, I can enter it here into the search bar. And so now, with a few edits, I can see now we have a truck and the mode is black. I can change it temporarily here as well if I wanted to go into satellite mode or something like that. So the next widget I'm going to add will be the cylinder, and this will represent the water tank. So I just need to select the device and then the variable for that. And if I go ahead and save, I can see it's set up here. Now, one thing to notice is that because the value is 600, it's already surpassing the range I have set for it. So I'm going to want to go back and edit that. So if I go to data range and format, I can set the maximum to something more within the boundary or outside of it, so that the water level is not immediately met. I can also add a formula to where I can edit and convert the values from liters to gallons. So you can use formulas for all sorts of things. You can add your own as well, but this will be just an example of that. So now I have this this water level visualization, but if I wanted to, I could also add a feature. I'm actually going to lower that back down now that we're converting to gallons. I'll lower that back down to, let's say, 200. Let's see. Okay, so I think that's good. I'm now going to add a VU meter to display the pressure. And it's about the same setup. You just select your device. Which in this case is a pressure sensor. And the variable is just pressure. And here I can actually, because I just selected an actual variable, it's not going to visualize it. But if I want to switch to simulated data, I just need to press here so I can get an idea for what that's going to look like. Here I can actually switch the widget to angular, dial, or solid, or VU meter. And in this case, I do want a VU meter, but it has to be and I don't need any edits here yet. So I'll just go ahead and save that. Re-enter the variable there. Okay, so now I have a gauge. So what I'm going to want to do now that I see this, I'm going to add a title, and then I probably don't need the variable name there. So if I want to get rid of that, I'll edit that again. Title this pressure, and then under variable, alias alias, I can just I can either rename it if I wanted to, or in this case, I just am going to get rid of it because I already have a title for pressure. And there we go. Okay, now I'm going to add the area chart to display the change in the water level over time. So if I save that, I immediately have a chart set up. And I think everything with that looks about right. I shouldn't need to edit that too much. And then the last thing I'm going to add is an input form. And I think I should probably go ahead and resize this. So to resize, you just have to select this little notch there at the bottom. And as long as you're in edit mode, if you're in visualization mode, you won't be able to do this. You'll notice pretty quickly that you aren't in edit mode. But once you are, you just need to select that notch and then move them around however you like. And so I'm going to go ahead and add the last widget, which will be the input form. And this will allow me to edit the variables like I showed earlier, just from using a form instead of waiting for the actual devices. So let's see, I'm going to want to edit the water level. And the variable I want to edit will be the water level. So here I'm going to go ahead and save that. I don't think I need anything else in here. Okay, so let's double check and make sure this is working. Let's say water level will now be 400. Okay, so that's working. But if I want to, instead of having an input form just sitting here, if I want to add it as, say, a button in this widget, in my map widget, I could go to here and use the header feature right here. And I can add an icon and call it add data. And it's going to open a widget. So if I wanted to, I could run an analysis or a frame. In this case, I'm going to open a widget. So it's going to be that input form widget that I just created. Make sure to save that. And it should function just as this input form does. So let's try that. I would change this to 700. And I can see that that's working. Now, I don't really need this input form widget just sitting here anymore since I can already access it from here. So what I can do is go to settings and then add a new tab. So this will be the main tab and this will just be extra. And I can, this will be a hidden tab as well. So it'll be only visible in edit mode and not once in visualization mode. So if I do that and then I go back to edit mode, I can see I now have a new tab. And I could add other widgets here, but in this case, I just want to move this widget over there. So I could also move this widget to a different dashboard if I wanted to, but this dash is good. So I just want to move it to a different tab instead. So I'll move it to the extra tab. And now I don't have it there anymore, which is good. And let's see if it still works. So if I go back in and edit it and resave, it should function in the exact same way. Okay, and there we go. So that I think covers it for normal widgets. There's a lot more features, certainly, that I have not covered. But I'm going to go ahead and show how to use Blueprint dashboards. So Blueprint dashboards, as Fabio mentioned, they allow you to pair multiple devices with multiple widgets, and they're much better for scaling than regular dashboards. And they also allow for much more visualization features, such as transparency. So here's one that I have set up as an example. So I have one device. It's a tractor monitor, and so it has different values for acceleration, velocity, and tire pressure, and they're all displayed here. But if I have that same monitor and I want to use the exact same dashboard for a different monitor, all I have to do, because I've added the tags in, I'll show you how to do that. I just have to click on that, and now I have all of the values from a different device displayed using the exact same dashboard. So instead of in a regular dashboard like this, instead of all of these being tied to a specific device and a specific variable and having to go in, if I wanted to represent, say I did want to go back in and represent a different device, I'd have to go in and change it for each of these widgets individually. But in this case, because I have it set up as a Blueprint dashboard, all I need to do is just switch it right here. And because these devices have the tags in them, connecting them to this dashboard, they will function in the same way. So I'm going to show you how to rebuild something similar to this. So this dashboard is, it functions in a similar way. I have a clock, a pressure sensor, depth reading, and a chart. I also have this button here, and this is tied to an analysis script that runs and sends me a notification saying that the robotic submarine has now been turned off. So there are a lot of different things you can do with these widgets. And if you ever need to, say you want to know how to run analysis scripts and how that works, you always have access to the help center in this little question mark. It's right here. And you just click on that and you can type in anything. And we have a lot of documentation. So you could go here and then work while you're already, you don't have to go outside of Tago, and you can work and read how to do that. So that's just something I wanted to point out at the moment. So now I'm going to recreate this dashboard or something similar. So again, I'm going to go and press the Add Dashboard button. And I'll select Blueprint Dashboard. And so here's the first difference you'll notice is I'm going to have to add Blueprint devices. So the names for the Blueprint devices can be anything. So I'm just going to name this Blueprint IMU as my first device. The tag keys are important. They have to match the tag key that you give to the device you want to link. So my tag key is going to be subdevice, and in this case, the tag value is IMU. And I'll go to that device and show you the tag that's set up for that device in a moment. And then I have a Blueprint depth sensor. As well as a Blueprint pressure sensor. And I could add multiple conditions if I wanted to. So say I had 2 tags for a device and I only wanted devices with both tags, I could add that, and I will in a moment to show you how that works. So here I can see I'm already pairing with multiple devices as they're already appearing. One thing I'll point out is I have 3 sensors, but I also have a backup sensor that I wouldn't want to use. So I'll show you the device. So the depth sensor 2. So this one is one that I want active. And the reason that my Blueprint dashboard can see this is because I have a tag with the key of subdevice and the value of depth, which is what I just added when I created the dashboard. I also have a second key, a second tag with the key of subdevice and a value of active. But this tag isn't being used right now. So if I go to the backup sensor, this only has one tag. It only has the tag for depth because it should be active. So if I go back to my Blueprint dashboard and I go to settings right here, I can go back and edit this. So I only want, say I only want depth sensors that are active. I can add a new condition that it'll be a subdevice with a tag of subdevice and value of active. So if I save that, and I can now see that only the 2 active sensors are available for use. So that's one feature of Blueprint dashboard. So I'm also going to add a background image. And for a good background image, I would recommend a large file. So you want something that's going to be at least as large as your screen or close to it. If you use a smaller image, it might get distorted because it doesn't have enough pixels to cover the whole screen, so it's going to be relatively blurry. And then you can edit the opacity here. And again, you can select an icon if you want to. And so I'm going to save that. And that looks pretty good. So I'll go ahead and add my first widget. And in this case, it's going to be that push button that I had set up. And so the title for this should be kill status. So, or actually more likely power button, because essentially what you're doing is turning on and off the robotic submarine. So that's going to be the IMU device, and the variable will be kill status. And I believe that's this variable. You can edit colors in Blueprint dashboards right here. So for the background, because everything is relatively dark, I think I'm going to go ahead and make this all dark, and then I can edit the transparency here. And one thing you'll notice is that once you have multiple widgets, you don't want to just scroll back and forth for transparency. You want to have an exact number so that they're all the same. So I'll do 0.5 here, and I'll edit that right here. And then the text, that looks good. And so what I want to do also is go into options, and so that here's where I select to run the analysis script I have set up for it. So that'll be the kill switch analysis script. And so I'll go ahead and create that and resize it a bit. So now if I press activate, I can see I have a second notification that matches the first. So that's working. I'll go ahead and add my next widget. So I'll go ahead and add the area form, which is similar to how I did it in the regular dashboard. There are a few differences here. So depth fluctuation. So the data will be coming from the depth sensor, and then the variable will be depth. I'll change the background color again. And let's see. There are also some visualization aspects I could add. I think I'll add the value for each point. And that should be all I need to do for this. It's relatively easy to add these widgets. And so now I can immediately have a nice chart to display all of my values. So I'll move that down to the bottom. And I will point out too that the rest of these widgets will be coming soon. Eventually there will be the same amount as in the regular dashboards. And so those will be coming out in the next few weeks. So now I'm going to add the pressure sensor, or the VU meter that uses the pressure sensor. So, and I'll say this is external pressure because in this case, if it was an underwater robot, it would be the external pressure from the water. And so I'll use the blueprint pressure sensor and the pressure as my variable. And the background, again, I'm going to want that to be dark. And I'm going to change the text to light so it stands out. And because I already have a nice title, I don't need this variable name here. And so I'm going to go to options and just click this to not show the variable. I could also add an alias if I wanted to, but in this case, I don't need anything there. I think it's good on its own. And so now I have the external pressure. And so if I go back to the one I'm basing it on, I'm also going to add a clock and then the depth sensor. So the clock is a good feature because you don't need any input from that. It just adds to the widget. And it looks pretty good as well. So I'm going to add a clock, and it's quite simple to do. You can add a title if you want, but in this case, I don't really need a title because it's a clock and it's very obvious that it's a clock, so I'll just leave that. But if I try to create that, it's not going to allow me because I don't have a title. So what I can do is just add a space for the title, and it'll then allow me to create that. So there we go, but obviously I want to edit the visualization to make that darker so that it matches the rest of the widgets. So if I do that, you can also paste in an exact text. So if you're using a specific color, you're going to want to paste that in each time here. Okay, that looks good. I could edit the time zone if I wanted to as well. Go ahead and do that. Okay, and so that's essentially what I had for the previous dashboard. I think I could add more transparency to these so that you can still see the background as I did in the other one. But I think I'm going to leave it at like that. A few other things I will mention. In addition to the help center here, we also have our community as well as support. So in community, specifically for dashboards, we have roughly 50 topics already opened, and this just is where people are asking questions, and you can get really good feedback for specific issues you're having. And you can also go to support and open tickets. And so I think that about does it. I will go ahead and hand it back to Fabio, and we can open for questions and get some feedback.
Yeah, thank you, Harry. Pretty good. Yeah, we have a lot of questions here already. So just a few comments. You said that you can add opacity in this one, right? Yeah. So
right. Yeah, I'll go ahead and edit
yeah, that's really nice. I mean, the image and the widgets as well on the back, on the front, I mean, right? Yeah, so can you go back to the normal dashboard, because there is a question there, and I think it'd be good if we could show. So Jeff is asking, your water tank is displaying a lot of numbers to the right of decimal points. Is there a way to limit the number of digits? Right, so the water tank in this case. Yeah, so go ahead.
I'll go ahead and edit that. And so quantity of tick marks right here, you can do more or less. And so if I want to do less, I'll just, I'll put that.
Hey, Henry, I think he means the decimal places on the data range and format, the second tab.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm not familiar with how to cast.
Yeah, data range.
Math would be better to, so that would be.
Yeah, just head over to the data range, the second tab above visualization.
Yes.
Oh, there we go. And then the last option called number format.
Yes.
You can set a decimal, so just press this selector. below this one, the decimals. Yes, there we go. So here, basically, you select how many decimal places you want. So as Henry is changing, you can see that it shows 52.83. So it shows that on the dashboard as well. So it's pretty simple to modify that.
Okay, pretty good. Matt, by the way, can you go ahead and answer the second question from Jeff as well about the ratio? Because just make sure everybody's aware about it before I go to the other one.
Okay. Yeah, Jeff. So the answer is yes.
No, can you make the question? You need to read the question again.
Oh, okay.
For everyone.
So Jeff said, how does the dashboard handle the portrait aspect versus the landscape aspect? Basically, is the dashboard aware of being accessed on a computer screen versus a cell phone screen? And the answer is yes, the dashboard is aware. If you enter on this dashboard through our mobile app or via the browser, you can see that the layout gets adapted based on the width of the screen being accessed. So on mobile devices, yeah, I think that's a good idea if Henry even shows it there. So basically, this is how it appears on the mobile app. Now, of course, this is just one widget, but if you had many widgets, they would get stacked one on top of the other. So you could just scroll with your finger to the bottom widgets. You know, it's a very smooth transition. But basically, the dashboard is aware that of the device accessing it.
Okay, good. Very good. Thank you, Matt. There is another question as well. Can I add the videos in the dashboard background? Right. So can you go back, Henry, to the main configuration of it, a dashboard, where you add a background image? Because the question is, can we add videos?
Oh, okay. Yeah, so currently we don't allow videos to be displayed on the background of the dashboard. We only allow images. So as you can see, we have a solid color and an image. You know, maybe sometime in the future we will add videos, but for right now we only have a solid color and the possibility of an image.
Yeah, however, I can tell you, because I haven't done a lot of that, you can convert the video if it's possible. I mean, of course, not a long video, like an animation with a GIF file, and then it can be used as animation. That works many times, but it's not videos.
Oh yeah, good point.
Okay, so Henry, that's for you. I think is better. Can I copy widgets to other dashboards?
Yes, you should be able to do that. So if I go to
you get a normal, yes,
a normal dashboard, and let's see. So I'll try to copy the this. So I'll again go into edit mode, and I can select here. So the three dots here. Go to move to, and did he say move to or duplicate?
Copy is duplicate.
Okay, so duplicate, and I'm going to select. Here you can see that I can't move it to a blueprint dashboard, so that's just one thing to point out, that it'll move between its own type, so a regular dashboard. So I'll add it to the new dash I just created, and I'll add that to main. And so now I have it. It looks the same because it is the same essentially. But yeah, so that's how you can copy one widget over to a different dashboard.
Right. Yes, that's good. So there is other questions. There are others. Okay, let me get one here. If I want to build a custom dashboard, for example, some sensors of our architecture plan, what do you suggest? So maybe that's for the front-end design for you, Matt.
Okay. So for example, some sensors over an architectural plan.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think by, thinking here, if you want to know the positions of the sensors over a kind of map or a, uh, you know, a plan really, yeah, I think a good use would be the image marker. You can use that widget to basically display an image and then put pins in on top of the image. So you can, for example, have the image of your architectural plan and then put each pin as a sensor and then display that pin with a certain information, for example, the amount of the data that the sensor is reading. Um, I don't think we have a preview of the image marker here, but if you access our documentations, I'm sure there is one or two examples there. But I think in your case, Gustavo, I think the best way would be to use the image marker. You basically show an image and put a lot of pins on top of it. Each pin, in this case, would be a sensor of yours.
Yeah. Yeah, so Henry, if you just go to the documentation and type image marker, for example, it's going to show there the documentation. You can go ahead and get this image marker. Yes, so layer, the first one, for example. Yes, okay. I don't think it's this one.
Yeah, I
It's
think it's the layer one.
It's the first one, yes, layer. Yes. Matt, this you will refer to, right?
Yeah, that's the one. So Henry, can you scroll up? I think there was an image there. Can you click one of them? Yes, there we go. So Gustavo, I think this is a very good example for you. So as you can see on the left side, we have a plan, we have the parking space, we have the entrance space, and we have basically a building there. And then each person has its little, icon, kind of little doll. And then basically each person would be a sensor and you can display some specific information for that sensor. For example, the water level or anything that you would like. So I think this example would fit in your use case.
Right, perfect. Okay, good. I have another question here. I think, Matt, you already answered directly to the person. Is for Andre. Can I use Google Maps in TagoIO? So I think that's a good opportunity to show and introduce the customer widget, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay, Andre. So as of today, we only allow, directly the Mapbox map to get displayed inside of Toggle. So Henry, can you go over to one dashboard that has a map? Any dashboard? Yeah, perfect. So Andre, this is a Mapbox map, so it's not from Google Maps. So this is what we work with for our map widgets. But if you want to use Google Maps, we offer that possibility for you. So in this case, what you'd have to do is build a custom widget. So custom widgets are basically widgets that you can program yourself and then display any type of content inside of them. So you could build your widget and then put a Google map inside of there and then display all sorts of icons, of tooltips, anything you'd like. Custom is not very difficult to work with. We have a bunch of documentation and articles for a custom widget. Basically, you associate the variables that you want for the widget, and then you retrieve those variables inside of your own HTML file. Basically, you just build your widget and then display inside of our dashboard. So it has your code running inside of Toggle. I hope I was clear enough. It's kind of hard to explain like this.
Yeah, but that's a very good point. So Henry, you are just showing there the documentation. So,
Yes. One thing I did when I was building a custom widget is there's a lot of resources here in the community as well, in addition to the help center.
Yeah. Just a type, again, the custom, or go back to the documentation for the custom overview. Yes, good. So that's what Matt is talking. It's not only for maps, for anything. You can see these kind of charts. You can see now. You can get, or you can do by yourself if you are a designer, or if you can get an external library, and you can add links and parameters. So it's very complete. So that really put your application in the next level, because we try, of course, very hard to cover uh, almost everything, but it's far from that, right? Because we learn that customers really have very specific needs, because differentiation is also king. So by using custom, you are able to add your widget now. So our suggestion is try to use as much as we offer here. If not, take a look in the custom, take a look in these widgets, get the documentation, go to our community, and if you have questions, open a ticket, we'll be glad to help you. And also, we are going to prepare another webinar in the next week, specific about how to build custom widgets. Okay. All right, so I don't have any other question. So is anybody else with any question? Please just write for us so we can take a look here and reply to you. Let me give it 1 minute. So Henry, meanwhile, can you just show the resource? I think you did that, not sure. The TagoIO for developer. I think in our website for the developer, I think you have it open there in the middle. Yeah, so I think it'd be good for people to see that one in our website. There are a lot of resources available. Yes, yeah. So basically here we have our community, developers, documentation, events, partners, videos. For example, this one will be there as well soon. So documentation, how to get started, understand the concept, some tutorials. Then you can download some files like best practice that you have. We have things like GitHub and other things. So feel free to use it. All right. I don't think we have any other question. All right. So again, thank you very much for everyone who have this time and stay here with us to learn about how to build dashboards. This video will be available online in our website later today. Feel free to share with others and let us know if you have any questions. Henry and Matt, thank you very much for your participation as well.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.